beyond the attitudes of religious superiority, exclusiveness, and even beyond the inclusivist model of religious belief and faith, we have the book entitled Sacred Ground, Pluralism, Prejudice, and the Promise of America by author Eboo Patel, an American Muslim who is also pluralist in his religious perspective. An inspiring call for Americans to defend the values of inclusiveness and pluralism by one of our best known American Muslim leaders. In Sacred Ground, Eboo Patel puts forth his view. And in this back cover book report, here is the description in the Goodreads. In the decade following the attacks of 9/11, suspicion and animosity, and indeed prejudice toward American Muslims has increased rather than subsided. Alarmist, hateful rhetoric, once relegated to the fringes of political discourse, has now become frighteningly mainstream, with pundits and politicians routinely invoking the specter of Islam as a menacing, deeply anti-American force. In this timely book, author, activist, and presidential advisor, namely for President Barack Obama, Eboo Patel, says that this prejudice is not just a problem for Muslims, but also a challenge to the idea of America. Sacred Ground shows us that Americans, from George Washington to Martin Luther King Jr., have been interfaith leaders. And it illustrates how the forces of pluralism in America have time and again defeated the forces of prejudice, exclusivism, which in turn has bred bigotry towards fellow human beings over a mere belief. Now, a generation needs to rise up and confront the anti-Muslim, and I would add anti-Christian, anti-Hindu, anti-Jewish, anti-whatever other religion you can think of that is a part of this American landscape, prejudice of our era. To this end, Patel offers a primer in the art and science of interfaith work and puts forth the concept of pluralism as one of the greatest endeavors in theological speculation, bringing to life the growing body of research on how faith can be a bridge of cooperation rather than a barrier of division, and sharing stories from the front lines of interfaith activism, pluralism, Patel boldly argues, is at the heart of the American project. Far from being anti-American, it is a responsibility we all must share, and Patel's visionary book will inspire Americans of all faiths to make this country a place where diverse traditions can thrive, cooperate, and learn from one another side by side. We hold these truths to be self-evident. So, the recommended book in the back cover book report for today is entitled Sacred Ground, Pluralism, Prejudice, and the Promise of America by Muslim author Eboo Patel. Very insightful. Highly recommended.